start off the project, you gotta drill out the rest of the handle that was in there. It looks like it had gotten broken off a long time ago. So, unfortunately, I broke the drill bit. So now I got a drill bit stuck in there. So then I got a bigger drill bit after I broke that one, and I could kind of drill that out more. Wrenched it out with the pliers a little bit, and I knocked down the edges with the chisel, and then it just came right out. I got it all prepped out. Now I gotta hit this up with the wire wheel, remove all the rust and all the other gunk that's on. I don't even know what that is, but it's pretty stuck on there. After that, it was time to hit it with the wire wheel. It's not really a wire wheel. It's kind of like a wire and sponge wheel. I picked it up at the Home Depot. I was waiting to pick up a belt sander. But it does a really good job. As you can see, like coming up right here, it just takes all that rust and all that gunk just right off. And it also leaves a lot of like the discoloration, and I don't even know what that's called. It's like a carbon print or something. And all the little indentions. Now that we got that all cleaned up, you can really kind of see there's a lot of old rust indentions in it, especially like right in this area. I think that just gives it like a whole bunch of character. Now the next step is going to be to take the angle grinder, and we're going to try and cut a bezel. We got to completely reform the edge. To do that, it doesn't need to be completely reformed. There's just a couple deformations there. But I'll cut out a new angle with it on the angle grinder, and then I'll polish it up with the belt sander. So now I was really struggling to get that bezel off because I lost the chuck to get the grinding wheel off. There's like it's like a circle with 4 holes in it, and the chuck has 2 little prongs that come out, and usually it just twists right off, but I didn't have that, so I was sitting there wrenching with a big pair of pliers and finally got it. Check out how that turned out. A lot of character just all over this. So what I'm doing, I'm kind of using this as something to kind of base the angle off of. So I'll press onto that, and then drag it across, and then it gives me a nice symmetrical edge across the entire thing. I kind of realized that I didn't need to use the angle grinder to remove all that material, but it was kind of helpful a little bit, and it made this process go a whole lot faster. Now that we got all 4 edges all kind of cleaned up, now we can start working on the handle. We've got a mark out for the handle. This is just kind of a rough. And then we'll do the rest of the shaping by hand. I'm sure that there's probably better ways to do this, but I found the easiest way to remove a bunch of material off of like a handle that went to a different axe is just with a table saw. One day it's probably gonna come out and bite me, and I'm gonna like have it pop up and hit me in the head, but I haven't had anything like that happen so far. I used the rasp for a little bit, and I realized that was taking way too long, and so I ended up using the belt sander for a little bit. But beforehand, I tried using the draw knife. That worked pretty good for rounding out like the top edge, but then I ended up having to use the belt sander, and it still didn't fit. And so I tried tapping it on with a rubber mallet, and I just needed to remove a lot more material. So I sat there fiddling with it. I used both of my belt sanders, and the one belt on my big belt sander, I blew completely through that one because I was not paying attention. I put a wood belt on it, and then I tried grinding metal with it, and so it just wore completely through it in the first 5 minutes of me using it. But I got a lot of it done with my little belt sander. I just put a new belt on it right before I started this project, And now I'm sanding it down with 100 grit sandpaper. That power sander makes it so much easier to just remove so much more material, but to get like a nice finish on the edges, I usually just finish it off by hand. It had like a finish on it. I guess it was more of a coating, but it was like a sealant, and it had tarnished over time, and so I just wanted to get all that off. On this blade, I used coconut oil to seal it off. Now that we got that all sanded up, super smooth, but I don't really like how this looks, so I'm going to do a bunch of engravings. I don't quite know what I'm going to engrave in there yet, but I'm going to get out the wood burner and see how it goes. I don't know why I said engraving, I meant wood burning. And I have a super nice wood burning kit. My grandma got it for me for Christmas one year, and it was awesome. I used the heck out of it, and then it disappeared. And I have no idea where it is, so I'm stuck using a soldering iron with a really sharp point on it to just kind of do like an electrical burn pattern. I'd like to get into that electrode burning where you put 2 diodes in a piece of wood and then you run a current through it, and then it makes an arc and you get a really cool pattern. Here I am tapping it into place. It took me forever to make that piece, and I didn't get any footage of it, but I used a thick piece of metal and I just kind of cut it off and then shaped it down, tapped it right on in there, and it worked perfectly. And so I ended up having to hit it down a little bit farther in there with a little chisel, and then I sent it off the top, that way it's more flush. And we got the finished product. I think it turned out pretty good. I'll put the link in the description to my eBay store where you can purchase this from.